Tonight, banning immigrants from India to the U.S. Maga on a tear after Indian Prime Minister Modi held hands with Putin earlier this week and then spent 2 hours with him alone in a limo. Modi's signaling that he's choosing Putin over Trump. And that was the signal, for sure. Trump's been threatening sanctions on India for buying Russian oil, and all that's been going down. And then Modi goes and spends 2 hours in a limo with Putin. You get the message. Well, MAGA influencer Charlie Kirk posted, quote, "America does not need more visas for people from India. Perhaps no form of legal immigration has so displaced American workers as those from India. Enough already. We're full. Let's finally put our own people first." And Jack Posobiec responding to a Trump post on India with this post saying, quote, "Tariff the call centers, all of them." But if MAGA voices are outraged by Modi's embrace of Putin, well, then they should be equally outraged by Trump's embrace of Putin. Trump literally rolled out the red carpet for Putin just weeks ago in Alaska, right? On that summit, Trump invited Putin to join him in his limo for their own private ride together before the meeting. And after standing side by side with Putin after the summit, Trump gushed about Putin. Watch this.
There's a warmth there that you can't, there's a decent feeling. That's a good thing, not a bad thing.
But now MAGA is going after India. Okay. The question is, though, is there a price to pay for this? Or is this just, a small skirmish going on the side? Harry Enton out front to tell us something we don't know. Harry, this may be no small skirmish. How many Indian Americans, right, as a powerful group, voted for Trump in the last election?
Yeah, this is horrible politics because I was looking at the precinct level data, then I was looking at the polling data, and what we see is Indian Americans are increasingly becoming more friendly towards Donald Trump. What are we talking about here? Well, in the 2020 election, Donald Trump only got about 30% of the vote. Look at where it got in 2024. That's a 7-point rise. He was able to get up to 37%, close that margin, that Democratic lead down from about 30 points all the way down to about 15 points. So the bottom line is Donald Trump is gaining among Indian Americans, and the garbage that you're hearing right now from certain members of the right, certain members of MAGA, it's just bad politics.
Okay, so India is the most populous country in the world. That did not used to be true 10 or 15 years ago, right? Swapped with China. Now they're number one. Also, though, one of the fastest growing populations in the United States, right, when we're talking about Indian Americans.
Absolutely true. I looked at all the different countries from Asia, and I basically found two things. Number one, that Indian Americans now make up the largest share of any Asian group in the United States. And more than that, their growth. Look at their growth over the last 10 years, from 2010 to 2020. Look at that. 55%, the fastest growing Asian group.
More than China?
More than China, more than any other group. We're talking about the amount. They were a little less than 3 million back in 2010, and now they're more than 4 million folks.
Okay. As usual, you have already told me several things I don't know. But now I say, tell me something else I don't know.
I'll tell you something else that you don't know. It's not just about Indian Americans. It's also about residents of India. And they actually like Donald Trump more than Americans like Donald Trump. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look at this. Confident in Trump on world affairs. A majority of residents of India are confident in Trump on world affairs compared to just 43% of Americans who like Trump on world affairs. It's not just there. What about honesty? Okay, look at honesty. Look at this. What do we see? We see that 50%, the plurality of Indians, think that, in fact, Trump is honest compared to just 36% of all Americans who think that Trump is honest. So, again, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot with this type of talk. The right is shooting themselves on the foot with this type of talk because the bottom line is Indian Americans and residents of India really are more going towards the Republican direction. And now stuff like this, we'll just have to wait and see.
Right. See what happens with it. All right, Harry, thank you so much, as always. And thanks so much to all of you. It's time for Anderson.
Tonight on 360, under bipartisan fire on vaccines, billions in cuts for critical medical research, rural health care, and more. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. goes before lawmakers and gets an earful. Also tonight, the president reaches back to 1947 and gets ready to take defense off the door and make it the Department of War again. Plus, the weather may have ruined tonight's dinnertime debut for the paved-over Rose Garden. But what's going on inside with tech and AI titans is the Real Story. Kara Swisher is here to break it down for us. Good evening. Thanks for joining us.